Alright, in the last lesson we talked about what a Git worktree is and why it's useful when you need to change what you're working on without committing or stashing your current changes. In this lesson I'm going to show you how to actually use worktrees by adding a new one and working on a different branch inside it. So at the moment we've already cloned this repo onto our computer and we started work on a new feature branch which currently has some uncommitted changes. Now imagine that for whatever reason we need to switch branches, maybe for a bug fix, maybe for another feature, hotfix, whatever. So normally before we switch branches, we'd have to either stash these current changes or make a commit. And sometimes we don't really want to do either of those things yet. So instead, what we can do is add a new worktree for this project and work on a different branch in that new working directory without touching the changes we already have here in this default worktree on this branch. To do that then, we can just type the command git worktree add, and then we're going to use the B flag to say we want to create a new branch to work on in this new worktree, and then we're going to follow that with the branch name, for example feature-b. And then finally we need a relative path to a new folder for this worktree, which I would recommend placing alongside your original cloned project directory and not inside this one. So it would start with 2 dots to come out of this project directory and then a /, and then the folder name, which I generally call the same as whatever the branch is going to be. So feature-b in this case. Then when we hit enter, Git is going to make that new worktree in that new folder and check out the new branch for us inside that folder. And just really quickly, before we switch directories to that new worktree, we can verify the worktree was created by running the command git worktree and then list. And when we do that, we should see the directories of each worktree associated with this repo, along with whatever branch is currently checked out in both of them. Now, one important thing that you need to understand is that because we didn't tell Git otherwise, it's going to use the current head as the starting point for this new branch. So if I'm currently on the feature A branch in this default worktree and I've already made a commit there, then the new worktree we add is going to be created starting from that commit. And if we don't want that, we need to explicitly tell Git which branch or commit to start from, like main, which I will show you later on. Anyway, notice that we're still in the same project folder in the terminal, right? And we're still on the feature A branch, we're not the new one, and that's because Git doesn't automatically drop us into the new worktree directory. We have to manually do that. So if I cd out of this current directory and then run the ls command, you should see that the new directory we just created is there now for the second worktree. And now I can cd into that folder, and when I do that, you're going to see that we're on the feature B branch within this worktree. And if I run a git status, then you'll notice there's no changes on this branch, and it says the working tree is clean. So we could go ahead and start making changes now, adding a commit and then pushing those changes up the same way as normal. So let me just run the ls command to list the contents of this working directory, and then I'm going to click on the readme file to make a quick edit. Then I'm going to save the file. So now we've got changes on this branch in this worktree, and if we wanted to now, we could leave these changes for a while and we could head back to the other worktree to carry on with feature A if we wanted to. To do that, I could just cd back into the default worktree by typing cd .. to come out of the directory first, then portfolio-worktrees. And when we do that, we should get switched to the feature A branch still with those changes from before, but not the one that we just added to the feature B branch. And I can demo that by quickly running git status, and we can see that it's only the HTML change inside this branch. So then imagine we've made all the changes we've needed to do in that second worktree and we've pushed the branch up and we've merged it. Well then after that we could go ahead and delete that worktree. To do that we can use the command git worktree again. This time we say remove and then the path to the worktree itself, which in this case is .. then feature-b. Now, if I hit enter to run this command, it's not going to work because we're trying to remove a worktree with a branch checked out that has uncommitted changes. And when I press enter, you can see that. So Git protects us from deleting a worktree that contains uncommitted changes. And normally, in a standard workflow, that wouldn't be the case, right? We'd most likely have made it a commit before deleting it, unless it all went south and it became a failed experiment or something. So you can force that process by adding the force flag at the end of the command, which I'm going to do now just to get rid of the worktree. So again, we say git worktree remove followed by the path to the work tree, which is // feature -b, and then we add the force flag at the end. And when I hit enter this time, Git should go ahead and remove that work tree along with any uncommitted changes within it, which we can verify by running the git worktree list command again, just to make sure it's gone, which it is. But the branch doesn't get deleted. It's still there, which we can check by running git branch. So if you want to delete the branch now, you could do by typing git branch, then -d, then the branch name, which is feature -b, and that's going to go ahead and delete it. Okay then, so we've seen now how to make a new work tree for this project and also how to delete the work tree when we're done. I also mentioned before that when we created that new work tree, it used the current head as the starting point of the new branch, right? So since I'm on the feature A branch, if I'd already made a commit on this branch, then the new work tree we add is created starting with that latest commit. Now, if we don't want that, we can explicitly say to Git which branch to start from, and then it starts from the latest commit on that branch. We can do that by typing out the same command as before, which was git worktree add. Then it would be the B flag to check out a new branch in that worktree. Then the name of the new branch we want to check out, for example, feature -c, and then the path to the new worktree, which could be .. to come out of the directory, then feature C. And then finally, the branch we want to start from in this worktree, like main. And if we were to run that, then Git will create the new work tree starting from the latest commit on main, not from wherever we currently are. So that's the basics of work trees, and that's one way we can work with them. However, another way to organize work trees is to clone what's known as the bear repository and then use that to follow a more kind of work tree first workflow, I guess. So in the next lesson, we're going to focus on what a bear repo is, and then in the lesson after that, we'll look at how to use one to manage work trees.